The biggest financial priority for the majority of Canadians in 2014 is apparently paying down all that debt they've got, according to a new poll by CIBC anyway. However, slightly fewer people picked it as their top pick compared to previous years. We know heavy debt, a major challenge for a lot of people in our country. Jeff Schwartz is here in studio with me. He's the Executive Director of Consolidated Credit Counseling Services. So there's a little bit of a dip in the number of folks who said, this is my top priority in 2014 versus previous years, but still the number one priority. Are you surprised?
Not really. I think it's actually a good thing that Canadians are making that as one of their top resolutions, is to pay down debt. I mean, we're seeing debt at all-time highs, but my concern here is that with the other stats that we look at, the debt is continuing to rise. So even though it's a resolution, they're perhaps not following through with it.
We're going to just keep this board up here for a second to show the other ones here. So we've got paying down debt, then there's building savings, managing their day-to-day spending, paying their bills, getting by, retirement planning as well. These other priorities, where do they factor in your mind versus the idea of paying actual debt?
Well, one of the ones that's out there that is managing day-to-day and getting by and stuff like that, and that's more concerning as well, because if you think about it, if they're just managing to get by every day and struggling even to pay with bills, because that's the underlying tone there, then this thing about a priority of having to pay down debt, that kind of goes hand in hand with it, because a lot of what they're doing right now is paying down or servicing their debt, and then other things are falling behind. So it could be they're paying their bills for their utilities, it could be groceries, it could be anything like that, so that making ends meet becomes more of a struggle for Canadians.
This is something that Canada's Finance Minister Jim Flaherty has been talking about for a while now, these debt levels. He's concerned about it, trying to get them down. What do you see in terms of trend lines here? Are people getting the message?
I'd like to think that they're getting the message, but stats aren't showing that they're getting the message quick enough. We're still seeing debt rise, even though it's at a slower rate, so that's a good thing. But we want to see more people pay off their debt, because what's concerning to me is, yes, it's concerning if interest rates rise, but more concerning is what happens if they lose their job or get a reduction in their income. How are they going to be able to service all this debt?
Right, and perhaps a lack of any kind of safety net for them. You deal with this on a day-to-day basis, the counseling of people and how to deal with debt. Give us the most important thing people need to know if they're facing this.
Well, first thing is you can't borrow your way out of debt. So cut your spending and live within your means. Get yourself on a budget and set some goals around repayment of the debt. And then what we really want to see is that, it sounds very easy, but it's not that easy. If you need some help, go out, reach out to a credit counselor, to a financial advisor, get them to put you on some sort of plan. It's not just about investment advice. It's about getting on a plan to repay that debt.
Jeff, it's been great getting you on here. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Happy New Year as well.